Beautiful. Folks are still coming in. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're going to get started in a second. And in the meantime, definitely feel free to drop in the chats what your name is, where you're calling from. Also, what brings you to the call, what you're interested in. So feel free to join in on the chats and we'll get started in a second.
We will not bow down to racism. Yeah, we will not bow down to injustice. We will not bow down to exploitation. What you gonna do? I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I just can't tolerate racism. I just can't tolerate injustice. I just won't tolerate exploitation. What you gonna do? I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. We will not obey racism. We will not obey injustice. We will not obey exploitation. I'm gonna stand. I'm
Okay, one more song and we're gonna get started. Beautiful people. Y'all like my slow fade out? I'm practicing. Welcome, welcome everybody to our call today. This call is about amazing opportunities coming up in the food justice movement. This is an incredibly thriving movement, and y'all, now is our time to absolutely step into our leadership and lead this incredible movement. And so we're going to be hearing from our comrades, our partners, our members, who are all looking for incredible leaders to join this movement or step up in this movement if you're already a part of it. So my name is Dara Cooper. I'm with the National Black Food and Justice Alliance. We are an alliance of Black-led food and land justice organizations all around the country. Our commitment is to organize, deepen the capacity, deepen the leadership of Black food justice work happening all over. We focus on building what we call self-determining food economies. We want to see deep leadership and organized communities holding down our means to build and invest in a food system that is rooted in dignity, rooted in care, that our people deserve. And so we also work on land justice work, where we've launched what's called the Black Land and Power Coalition, working on making sure that Black people have the means to collectively be able to steward land. And so we have a lot of exciting things happening. But one of the things also is that we are our members. We are the organizations who we are comprised of, right? We would not be an alliance without our members. And so it's important to have, the infrastructure, the support, to be able to be as coordinated as possible in our work. We know that individually we can't do this work alone. We know we're up against systems that are, deeply invested in us not existing and not on our watch and not on our watch together. And so our work is about building with each other, a very strong coalition. So I mentioned, we work with Black organizations, and we're also in partnership with multiracial organizations too. And so this call is Black and POC folks who, again, are our members, our partners, who are deeply committed to racial justice, deeply committed to gender justice, deeply committed to food justice. And that is what this call is about today. So we're gonna get into it, family. And the flow will be the next section I titled Big Things Are Happening. I wish I was Jamaican so I could say big things are going, but I can't. So I'm not gonna say that. I really wish I was Jamaican, but big things are happening in the food movement, and that's what this next section is going to be about. So we have the great privilege of hearing from our comrades. This call actually came about from Dennis Derrick here, the infamous Dennis Derrick at Corbin Hill Food Project in New York, and so we're going to hear from Dennis. Then we get to go to Mississippi. We're going to take y'all all over this country. This territory to Mississippi. And then we're gonna go to California to Kitchen Table Advisors. I'm sorry, let me back up. We're gonna go to Mississippi and hear from Carlton Turner at Sip Culture, doing amazing work in Mississippi. Then we're gonna go to California and kick it over to Anthony Chang to talk about the exciting work happening at Kitchen Table Advisors. And then you get to hear from me because I'm going to rep a couple of other of our members who couldn't be here today. So yeah, without any further ado, I'm going to kick it over to the one and only Dennis Derrick.
Well, welcome everyone. Dara, first of all, let me thank you for doing this. You responded so quickly to my need in terms of the pain I was feeling in terms of trying to work with search firms and so forth, and the frustration that I felt. And you used the phrase, these search firms only seem to know 3 people, and they're the same 3 people. And I have a board member who says the same thing. And so this is really very helpful. Let me give you a quick background about Corbin Hill and then what we're looking for in the vision piece. When we were founded 10 years ago, not a single one of us, 11 of us involved, knew anything about farming. All we knew there was something crazy and something wrong, and that we wanted to create something very different. Our ideas were so crazy at that time in terms of talking about sovereignty and land ownership and so forth, that we realized that no one was going to fund us, that we had to raise the money ourselves. And so 11 of us raised $750,000 to set our own table and to define who we were and what we wanted to be. And so 72% of the folks were Black and Latinx in that group, and they also provided 72% of that money. So you need to know that people were just not talking, they were putting up and saying, either put up or shut up. And these were folks who were willing to play, knowing full well they were not going to make a bundle of money in the food business if you tried to serve folks who were in need. So that up front, they were basically saying, let's find structures. So we're what we call a hybrid organization. We have an LLC that owns the land, equipment, and all of those are the infrastructure, 95 acres. And what there was is a commitment from day one that we would always turn that land over to Black farmers, or to the community at that time, which we have now defined as Black farmers. And as a matter of fact, we are talking about building what we would call a Black Farmers Commons, in which people are going to begin next year to start growing on the land. We then spun off all the operations side in terms of food distribution and aggregation to the nonprofit side, the 501c3. And then we created a whole series of business models that have evolved over the 10 years that brings us to where we are at this particular point in time. When we tell people we have a staff of only 4 people, they say, how do you do it? And partially, a lot of it has to do with technology. The fact that we were able to distribute, some 4,000 boxes of food each week over the COVID period. People say, how do you do that with 4 people? Well, the whole reality is we have access to everyone's infrastructure. We decided years ago not to spend any money on infrastructure. No one was going to finance us, and waiting for grants was useless in terms of capital expenditures. So where we are at this moment is 2 things. One is that we are looking, I would like to be able by next June to spend full time making sure the transfer of land, which is a kind of reverse reparations to Black farmers, will successfully take place. And on the other hand, we have begun a new model in which we're spending a tremendous amount of time having said up front, no one organization can do this work and make the transformations we're looking for. And so we've built an alliance, an ecosystem that involves Soulfire Farm, Northeast Farmers of Color, Farm School, and the Black Farmers Fund. And within that, we are now doing joint applications. We've been very successful on a couple of them. We have about 3 more joint applications going in the next 2 to 3 weeks, in which we collectively feed on each other's sets of skills. So the Soulfire Farm and Land and Farm School can do lots of training. Black Farmers Fund in terms of financing. Corbin Hill brings to the table the whole issue of distribution. So that how do we create these new pathways for success becomes the other big piece on that. So we're looking, first of all, in terms of the excitement of who we're looking for at this point, we're looking for someone who's going to take over the leadership of Corbin Hill. We're looking very much for a thought leader. Our operations side is well run, so that while they may be involved in the operations side in terms of looking at opportunities and so forth and how they bridge and link with all the work that we're doing, our operations manager is really good, and that staff is going to be extended. Okay, we're looking also for communications person, because essentially we don't tell our story. I'm going to say the first thing I said when I came on today to Carlton is I wish we could tell our story, but we have no ability to do that. We're also going to be looking for a development person, because working not only with the Alliance, but also working within Corbin Hill in terms of some of the grants that we're going to need. And we're going to be looking for a finance person for half-time for the next year, half a year, and then that should become a full-time position. One of the things I think is important as we move forward in terms of this vision is the fact that with my trying to spend all my time on the land transfer, I am making sure that we have enough money to support all new staff for the next 3 years. We cannot have people coming in as running organizations in which the first day they're trying to find the first nickel to basically cover the window because the cold air is coming in. We need to be able to give them something firmly in which they can build on, in which they have space and time to be creative, to think, and to implement. I'll leave it there.
Beautiful. Thank you, Dennis. We're going to go to Carlton. Folks, feel free to put questions in the chat, and then after we finish, we'll open it up for questions. Carlton?
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm really excited to be a part of this conversation. Thank you, Dara, for pulling this group together, and thank you, Dennis, for being the seed for this conversation. My name is Carlton Turner. I'm the son of Genevia Turner and Emmett Turner. I'm the grandson of Sammy Roberts and Epsy Roberts, great-grandson of Will and Eliza Broadwater, and great-great-grandson of Gus and Sarah Terry. All of those people, plus at least a couple of generations before them, have been in this community around Learned, Mississippi, Utica, Mississippi, for 8 generations. I am proud to be of that lineage, and all of those people were agriculturalists and engineers. And so the work that we do here at the Mississippi Center for Cultural Production really focuses on bringing together story and food in a way in which we can harness those 2 elements to redesign our community for its next iteration, which we plan for it to be community-centered and community-governed. And so we're working around food systems, we're working around storytelling. So we are an organization that is based in arts and culture, and arts and agriculture. I'm going to get straight to, we're in Utica, Mississippi, small town, about 900 people. We have 3 spaces. We have an artist residency house that we've been renovating for the last couple of years, which is where our offices are. We have a place to house up to 6 artists, six guests at a time. We have our media lab here, and we're in the process of implementing a 1,500 square foot climate controlled greenhouse with an outdoor classroom on this property as well. We also have a 4,000 square foot commercial space on Main Street, right up the street, in which we're turning into a commercial kitchen to do value added work with local vegetables and products, and turn into both a space for food production as well as cultural production. And then we have 17 acres of green space that for the last 20 years has just been an open pasture that we're turning into community gardens and expanding our agricultural production footprint. So I'll get straight to the opportunities. We have 3 particular opportunities, and I'm going to provide a link in the chat so that you can see them a little clearer on our website. But we're we're hiring in agriculture. So we're looking for farmers, people who have expertise, experience in growing and putting in farm infrastructure. We are trying to build out a community-centered infrastructure here in Utica. So we're looking for farmers. We have positions open now. We actually just hired an agricultural assistant, young person who studying plant and soil science at Alcorn State University, bringing them in, but they're not an experienced farmer. So we're having to train them and get them up to the point where they can actually own the infrastructure. We're also hiring for research assistants. So we are working, as I was sharing with Dennis earlier, we're working with the University of California, Davis, specifically an organization called Imagining America, to do a 3-year research project in our community, which is looking at equitable food futures and looking at the role of storytelling and building of community collective memory and helping our community make better decisions about our food ecosystem. And so that project, we're looking for research assistants to help do some of the, just some of the ground gathering of information, kind of organizing on the ground here in Utica with us, and working with our researchers that are based both in California and here in Utica. We have a community advisory group that we're working with that is helping to hold the essence of the research as part of a community process. And we're looking for a research assistant, and that job description is also at the link that I provided. The last thing that I'll share and mention is not a link there because this is kind of like a newish process, but because we realize there's a lot of young people that are coming out of college that are studying agriculture, but really don't have any experience farming or working on farms. We are creating an 18-month apprenticeship for young farmers in the South. And so we want to be able to provide them with a salary for the 18 months, provide them with health benefits, provide them with space to learn and grow, with educational stipends to help them learn skills based on what it is that they're trying to do post their time with us, hoping that some of them will stay with us and grow out their time and grow with us as we develop SIP culture. But that's a program that we're in the process of developing and defining now. And we've already got a couple of young people from the local university who are interested that we want to bring into that process. But we would also need people who are willing to share skills and help to build up the skills of our young people. So those are the opportunities. I thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please just drop them in the chat. Thank you.
Go for it.
Thanks, Dara. Gratitude to National Black Food and Justice Alliance for hosting this call, for Dara for inviting us in. My name's Anthony Chang, he, him pronouns, with Kitchen Table Advisors in Northern California. And before I talk about a little bit about our work and the opportunities that we have, also want to say that kind of want to bring kind of connection and generosity into this space too, where we are kind of connected to a bunch of other organizations, see people from all around, kind of from the West Coast to the East Coast and different parts of the country here. And so like, you know, we're like NBFJA, members of Heal Food Alliance. I'm on the Common Future Board that does racial wealth gap work, Castanea Fellow, and a number of other networks. And so happy to, like, if you're in a specific place and want to get connected to a specific thing and I could be helpful for that, I definitely want to offer that as well. But specifically about Kitchen Table Advisors and our work, our purpose is around fueling economic viability and livelihoods and self-determination for a multiracial next generation of sustainable small farms and ranches here in Northern California. If you're familiar with the California cities and geography, we're in like Salinas to Sonoma to Sacramento, a couple hours in any direction from the San Francisco Bay Area. We have two pillars for, or kind of like what we're trying to do. And I think really appreciate what Dennis said earlier around kind of like, obviously none of us are doing this work alone, and kind of the ecosystem of organizations that we work in, kind of what we want to achieve in collaboration with others is really regenerative farmers and ranchers with thriving livelihoods in community-based economies with an equitable distribution of power and resources. We have two programmatic pillars that we're working on right now, kind of in collaboration with folks. The first one is one-on-one business advising, kind of working at the individual farmer level. We work primarily with women farmers and farmers of color throughout Northern California, have an in-depth kind of bilingual program where we work with farmers on planning, financial management, access to loans, profitability analysis, access to markets, et cetera, where we sit down literally at the kitchen table, pun intended, around to help folks kind of, again, on their journey over a several year period to kind of get to economic viability with their farms. And the second pillar of our programmatic work is, and really guided by the farmers and ranchers that we worked with, it's a newer, more emergent piece of work for us, which is working at the institutional level. So farmers and ranchers have told us, like, it's great, like, we know how to use QuickBooks now, we can get that loan from FSA now, or whatever it might be. And at the same time, like, the markets that we're selling into, the systems that we're working with are not built for us. How can we work together to influence and shape and change those institutions, particularly those that control land, that control markets, and that control capital, to work better for farmers, and so that farmers have more ownership and governance and control of those institutions. So with some of that work, we're helping food hubs become farmer owned. We're working with community development financial institutions and philanthropic institutions to direct their capital more towards Black and brown farmers, as well as have more farmers involved in decision making. So that's a quick, and part of that work that we've done, again, kind of touching on this institutional level work, as well as the kind of the collaborative piece that, again, Dennis was talking about. We've partnered this year with as another example of that institutional level work, we partnered this year with First Nations Development Institute, ALBA, Mandela Partners, Minnow, which is a land trust kind of similar to the Northeast Farmers of Color land trust, as well as Butterfly Movement, to set up a California BIPOC Farmer Land Steward Relief Fund, channeling relief fund money to Black, Brown, POC, Indigenous farmers and land stewards that have been hit hardest by COVID and wildfires here in California. So those are examples of the kind of work that we're trying to do here in California. And specifically the two positions that we're hiring for right now, I can put the link in the chat after I'm done, we have a flat leadership structure where there's several directors that co-lead the organization right now. Many of those directors are kind of in regions, working in kind of the rural communities where the farmers are. We're looking for a director right now, which is a new role that will weave across the different regions in which we work. And so it's a partner, a peer to our other directors that are in the community, from the community, know the community of farmers in that place, and someone that can step back and see the bigger picture and help tie together pieces around program development, as well as kind of bridging to fundraising and communications. And the second role that we have is a partnership manager role, which is on our development fundraising team, working with some of our institutional funders. We work with some foundations, we work with some financial institutions, and then we also do some government subcontracting with partner organizations where, say, like an ALBA, which is Farm Incubator in Salinas, might write a big grant to USDA, and there might be 3 or 4 partners that work together on that grant. And so this person would help kind of manage those relationships as well. So I will pause there. I'll put the link on the job opportunities in the chat, and definitely feel free, and I'll put my email too. Feel free to follow up with me if you have any questions later. Thanks.
Beautiful. You all are concise. I love it. I hope people are excited by what's been presented to us so far. I know they're exciting for me. If I didn't have a full-time job, I'd be applying, but I do, alas. So I'm gonna actually stand in for one of our leadership team members who's also hiring. Mark Winston Griffith at Brooklyn Movement Center. And so when I used to work in New York, I was actually a very active member of Brooklyn Movement Center, and it's definitely a home doing incredibly important work in Central Brooklyn. So I'll just read some stuff that he sent to me to be presented here in the conversation. Brooklyn Movement Center is the organizing body and incubator for the Central Brooklyn Food Co-op. BMC is a Black-led social justice organization that works on a range of issues affecting the Black community. Both BMC and the Food Co-op are making some critical hires over the next 6 months. So they're specifically looking for Black people rooted in Central Brooklyn or willing to relocate to Central Brooklyn. These opportunities are both programmatic and administrative in nature. So in December, they're going to be hiring 3 part-time canvassers, frontline organizers, who will help to recruit members of BMC and the Food Co-op. It's really important to be building up the membership for the Food Co-op. And so this position, or these positions, will help to do that and build campaigns. Those positions will be $25 an hour, part-time with some part-time benefits. In January, BMC will be hiring a full-time finance and administrative manager who will run BMC's financial controls and build administrative systems. The salary for that will range from $60,000 to $65,000 a year. In February, BMC will be hiring a full-time development associate who will do grants management and individual donor cultivation for BMC and the Food Co-op, and other program initiatives, and that will be at $65K a year. And then some part in the latter part, I'm so excited about this last one, some part in the latter part of 2021, they're going to be looking for a full-time general manager for the Food Co-op. This is major, and that position will be at 65 to 70K. They're also looking for potential board members, volunteers, and consultants who have experience in retail food operations. you can contact Mark, and I'll give his email address in a minute, but check out the website at brooklynmovementcenter.org. And then his email address, I'll just copy it and put it in the chat. So exciting things happening in Brooklyn. I really miss working there, but it's all to the good. And then I'm gonna kick it over to our field director, Randolph Carr, to talk about opportunities at the Alliance.
Hey, peace, everybody. Good to see some faces and some names that I recognize. Some faces I work closely with, and some I'm just seeing for the first time as well. This call is apparently very needed, and that was made clear by once we put up the job descriptions for the Alliance, which I am dropping in the chat box. That is not that's my signature, but if somebody can drop in the job chat into the chat box, it was abundantly clear that there's a lot of interest and capacity being directed towards our organizations, and I think at this moment it's a perfect sort of time to not only answer the question of how do we add capacity to our organizations, but how we also think really fundamentally about the types of leaders that we are building in this moment. Just by the sample of folks on this call and the sample of folks who have showed interest so far, there's an abundance of folks that are willing and ready to carry forward the movement we collectively represent on this call. And so I'm excited about the opportunities that only that are with the Alliance, but also with others right now. And it is clear that the work it takes to build strong organizations. Just briefly, because I think it's important in understanding also the job folks are applying for. The Alliance started about 5 years ago now, 2015, and we brought on our first staff in 2017. And so in terms of dedicated folks to do the work, and this marks a new sort of iteration in the Alliance's sort of organizational growth, right? And I'm reflecting to that period 5 years ago when we sat in a room together in South Carolina, actually, and we began charting out a problem statement. It was around the same time that the movement for Black Lives was emerging. There was uprisings in the streets, and we were wanting to answer the fundamental question of what is it that we are here to build, right? What is it that we can do together as we sort of crafted this problem statement and became really clear about the problem. The Alliance came together as a coalition of organizations that say, if we are to do this, we have to build a movement, and it's going to take not only strong organizations, but also strong leaders. And so that's the place we sort of situate ourselves within this ecosystem, right? The work of not only organizing people towards this strong movement, but also amplifying culture and building institutions. And the positions that we have the honor to post and send forward and reach out to sort of help us move towards those objectives. Is the link actually in other than my signature now? There are 4 jobs currently on that website. And when we drop that link, I will talk about 2, because since the beginning, the Alliance has been held by 2 fundamental anchors, which is our working group around land, and our other working group around self-determining food economies. And early on, when I met some of the folks in the Alliance, self-determining food economies was sort of summed up to me in this question of how do we get Black food to Black plates, right? Really thinking not only about the question of Black producers and distribution channels, but also the cooperative grocery stores that we are developing, right? So the new economies also requiring of new cultures that we bring forward. And on the other hand, I said the self-determining food economies in the land. Dara spoke briefly in the introduction about the Black Land and Power Coalition, but fundamental to the Black Land and Power Coalition was an observation of the long trend of Black land loss and the necessity of being organized and taking land off the speculative market to provide opportunities for our folks, right? Both of these anchor pieces of our work require the kinds of attention and care, folks who approach the sort of relationships with rigor and approach the work with care. These positions are held down by our coordinator positions, the self-determining food economies coordinator being the person sort of around self-determining food economies, and the other coordinator position being the Black Land Empower coordinator position, someone to hold down a lot of the relationships regarding Black Land and Power. We see these as the sort of the base of where we're building from as we move forward and stretch further into this timeline we're co-creating. The other positions you'll see on the website as well are a development, believe, I can't remember it off the top, I believe it's development coordinator.
Grants manager.
Grants manager, thank you. A grants manager and administrative assistant. Part of that is with a coalition of 30 member organizations and growing. A large part of holding relationships is being able to coordinate between many different people, organizations themselves who are or coordinating with many different people. And so as we begin to zoom back, we see the tapestry, we begin to see the web that holds us all together. Those are just a few of the positions that we'll be sort of interviewing and we push for. And the most exciting position actually is our most recent hire, which was the comms and culture coordinator. And I think it was spoke to about the role and the importance of comms. And we see that and to the point of amplifying culture, we see the role of comms as not only an opportunity to target audiences, but a way to capture and hold the stories and unearth the culture that has sort of undergirded this food and land movement, which we are all part of. I'll end there. Please check out the website. I'm deeply committed in my role at the organization to making sure that our organization is a reflection of the type of values that we hold, that the leaders that we develop are also willing and ready to move this movement forward. And so thank y'all.
Thank you, Randolph Carr. Randolph has been with us from the beginning, and it's been an incredible journey to work with him to grow this incredible alliance together. And so grateful for your work, your insight, and your leadership, Randolph. I do want to make a plug because I don't know if you did justice to this particular position, but our grants manager position is an exciting opportunity, and I really want people to consider it. It's exciting because I really enjoy organizing funders. The reality is these funders have been in the past resourcing people who are absolutely not doing anywhere near the incredible work we're actually doing. So we get to provide an intervention there and do a lot of education around what are some praxis, or what's the praxis behind racial justice? Because it's a buzzword in a lot of these, foundation spaces. The folks want to get down with the racial justice or racial equity, and we're here to actually let them know, right, what that can look like. And so this is an exciting opportunity that I really want to encourage people to consider in terms of grants management. The beautiful thing is folks won't necessarily need to be looking for new funders. It's working with existing folks who are really interested in building with the Alliance and building with our members, because we actually do a lot of work to make sure that our members are resourced too. And so I really want to make sure folks consider that position. That's my special plug for grants manager position. And so also thank you, Randolph, for shouting out Leanne. She's on the call here. So Leanne Morissette is our new comms and culture coordinator and brilliant documentary artist, photographer, and definitely make sure you check out her work. But also you'll be getting exciting updates from the Alliance thanks to Leanne. We're also recording this, if you noticed, so we'll make sure that it's on our website so we can share it with other folks. Please share it with your comrades and folks who weren't able to join today. But just, very excited to be able to have the comms infrastructure to lift up these incredibly important stories. So I'm seeing some chats. We're going to go into, actually, before we get into questions, there was a question particularly about opportunities in the Northwest, and we actually lucky enough, we have somebody here who has an opportunity. So I actually want to give Eddie a couple of minutes to chime in and talk about the positions also available in the Northwest. Eddie, can you chime in just for a couple minutes?
Dara, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Good to see Chicago folks on the line doing things all over the world. Shout out to Chicago. Hey, so my name's Eddie Hill. I'm one of the directors, co-directors. Similarly, I was listening to Dennis when I jumped on. I was like, oh, dang, we're following that Eldridge path. We got 4 directors similarly, and have broken our company, our enterprise out to an LLC, a B Corp, which is a big thing out here in Oregon. And we're based in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. And then we have a nonprofit wing as well that we have working together in a shared economy kind of rotation. So since February, we had a conference in February. Since February, we've got 4 new directors. We got 2 staff. We launched the food hub, the food delivery system. But what we've got on deck right now, to make it quick, is director of membership. We had a person, Melanie Edwards, some of you may know, up in the Seattle area. She was going to be the director, and then she got an opportunity to go up to Alaska and do some stuff with animals and wool that she really wanted to do. So we need a membership director immediately, and we're paying we're calling it a flat 50. So everybody gets $50,000 for the first 3 years with benefits. And what we're doing, and then if we can raise those rates up after 10 people, then our goal is to increase salaries. But we're trying to do a flat 50. We offer 0.75 hours for that, not full time, so you can do something else like grow food or make a product. And we need somebody to manage our membership. So we have donors, repeating donors, corporate, people who've had experience working with funders and program folks and building our community membership. Like I said, that's a immediate, like almost $25 an hour, and you can remote that, but you have to be familiar with the Pacific Northwest and what's happening out here and sort of the lay of the land on the Green Coast, I think we called it at the last Bugs conference. So, and then we just got funded from DESA for the equitable food oriented development work. So Kresge dropped us some cash, and then we've raised probably about $500,000 since February because of being Black in Portland. And that's been awesome. A lot of white guilt money has come, and we need to staff out 2 farms. We got 2 3-acre farms that need farm managers. And now one of them is live on site, and the other one we're getting a community house so that Black people have a place to live in Portland that's not, steeped in racism, and we can be around ourselves. So that'll have housing attached to it. And then coming January 1st, we're launching our food hub. It's an old New Season central kitchen, and we're launching a food hub. So we'll need a food hub, or sort of like a Mandela or a Common Market in Philly manager, facilitator. A facilities manager coming in January, and that'll be our second position. I'll leave it at that. People can look at our website. I posted Black Food Northwest NW, blackfoodnw.org, and we'll be posting more things. Hit us up. And if you're on the West Coast in Seattle or Portland and Northern Cali, we can come see you and wear a mask and come visit and work some things out.
Excellent. Thank you, Eddie. So much happening. So many exciting things happening all around the country. I think the top question I'm seeing in the chat, and folks, be ready to, if you can actually raise your hand. I don't know if y'all see the reaction button at the bottom of the screen. Click on the reaction and raise your hand if you want to be in line for a question, or just hit stack in the chat. And be thinking about your questions. But the number one question I'm seeing in the chat is, what positions are virtual? So I'm gonna give the panelists a chance to, I'm gonna circle back through each panelist to see if any of their positions are virtual. I mentioned the Alliance, all of our positions are virtual, although I have a preference for people in Atlanta. But all of the positions, or in the South, but all of our positions are virtual. So I'm going to kick it back to Dennis and check in with you, see if you got any virtual positions.
We're really rethinking a great deal about this issue of, do we really need an office? Quite frankly, okay? We haven't come to any conclusions yet. My sense is the one position that will probably be virtual could very well be the two positions could be. One is our communications person and the other one is our development person. The person who takes over the organization, we really think they need to be here in the city. There's so much going on with city council, state government, funders in this area, et cetera. But we're thinking that through. By the way, my apologies for not having the postings. I mean, you say you reacted so quickly, Dara. We were working with one search firm, which we've just given up on. Actually, the second one we've given up on. Okay. And so just the whole issue of finalizing these job descriptions and putting together what we see as a 3-year budget was really important before we start posting things. Okay. But I would say 2 of those positions could be virtual. I'm not going to say they will be, but they could very well be virtual. Okay.
So the positions are not on your website yet, is that
No,
correct?
because we're getting our 3-year budget approved in the next week, and then I feel comfortable about being able to post them.
Okay. So people need to just keep posted with the Corbin Hill
Yes.
website.
Yes, website, definitely.
And then on the Alliance side, we can commit to circulating them. If folks have access to social media, make sure you follow the Alliances, the National Black Food and Justice Alliance's social media, particularly our Facebook. So we'll make sure that we can circulate all these positions once they're available there. You can go there to the site. Carlton, I think I know the answer, but.
Of course, the agricultural positions are not virtual. They do require people on the ground here, and we hope to have it as close to Utica, Mississippi, but we are definitely open to people that are in and around our community, Hinds County, Copiah, Warren County. I'm definitely open to talk about the research assistant position possibly being virtual. We have 2 lead researchers, and the reason why we even created this assistant research position was because those researchers are now in California. They were supposed to be coming back and forth here to Mississippi, but have not been able to come here because of COVID. So we're really looking for someone on the ground in Mississippi that can go to the Mississippi archives and dig up information about land usage, about policies around farms, look at the way that some of the land has been displaced from Black farmers over the course of the past 60, 80 years. So, but I think that's something that could be managed possibly. So we're open for that conversation. There's also a program associate position that deals mostly with the arts and culture side of our work. That is could be a remote position as well. So that's open as well.
Great. And Carlton, I don't know if you see Eva's question. Hey, Eva, I don't know if you see Eva's question about the level of experience.
Yeah, so we're looking for all levels. We have some intermediate experienced people and some low experienced people. We're looking for some highly experienced people as well. So we're looking for a mix, but we're missing right now that highly experienced person.
Great. Thank you, Carlton. Anthony Chang.
Yes, unfortunately, the roles at Kitchen Table Advisors are place-based in Northern California. I mean, that's like remote and from your home, but like, yeah, Northern California is going to do a lot of all our work is place-based, unfortunately, not remote. But I did put it to the chat if like folks are looking in other places, like happy to connect with folks that I know in whatever place you are. If I happen to know folks that that are either hiring or just kind of good people to connect with and talk to about potential opportunities in the future.
Great, thank you. All right, folks, what other questions you got? Everybody feel like they got enough information from these brilliant folks to get excited enough to apply yourself or organize your comrades and friends to apply. Can't find the, okay. Miles, go ahead and come on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
I have a question for Carlton. The research with Imagining America, is that geared towards more so the storytelling component of your organization, or towards to inform like food production in the future of Utica?
Yeah, so the latter, it's really geared towards helping the community build the social cohesion necessary to make decisions around its food infrastructure. So we're really, the storytelling aspect, this is more of a clinical research study. So it's funded by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. So we're really looking for data. We're looking for some specific information around the history of our community and how people make decisions, how the food and land has been used in this community. And we want to make sure that the data is complete. And so the data we don't feel can be complete without the stories of our community. So the data is one part of it, but the stories complete the context for the research. So it's both, but the work with Imagining America that we need the most support on is more of the data collection and the more clinical side of the research.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, folks? While you're thinking about your questions, there are a few other organizations I want to make sure to mention. I don't know if folks had an opportunity to come to our call this past Tuesday, but it was so heartwarming. We got a chance to have an evening with Mrs. Shirley Sherrod and Dr. Monica White. And it was really beautiful and incredible. But also Mrs. Sherrod has been in this work for decades and is also looking for her replacement. So she's turning 73. Today is her birthday. So folks definitely send her some love and well wishes. But she's looking to retire and is really looking for someone who's interested in coming to Albany. Y'all, I struggle saying this name. Albany, Georgia, to take over the incredible work happening at New Communities, over 1,600, thank you, Albany, 1,600, New York messed me up, this is why I can't say it. Because it's over 1,600 resort, it's called Resora at Cypress Pond. And then, so if you look up Southwest Georgia Project, you should be able to find contact information. The job description is not ready yet, but it's coming soon. So please be on the lookout for that. Please circulate to your folks. We have to continue that legacy there. It's too important. So please look out for Southwest Georgia Project and New Communities. The other two organizations I just want to put on your radar, they'll probably be hiring later, down the line. One is SAFON, Southeastern African American Farmers Organic Network. I think I saw Alcy Parks, the great Alcy Parks on the line here. So just, be looking out for them. And then Urban Growers Collective, in Chicago, not ready yet, but probably around January, they'll be looking to hire too. And they're doing amazing work in Chicago. And one piece of their amazing work, just FYI, is, I don't know if folks know, I worked with some comrades to start a mobile market in Chicago called Fresh Moves. It was one of the most replicated models in the country, and it's still going. So Urban Growers Collective is the adopted mama of Fresh Moves. So Fresh Moves is still going. I'm so excited. So check it out. But they train young people around urban ag and do all kinds of installations and CSAs and all kinds of really amazing work in Chicago. So definitely check them out as well. So I just want to shout out those three organizations. And then Dreaming Out Loud as well. I'm not sure what position they were supposed to be on the call, but couldn't make it. But also look up Dreaming Out Loud. So yeah. Any other questions that folks have about, okay, and then Anthony, yep, that question. Any other questions about, finding these opportunities and, connecting with folks? No? All good? Everybody excited? Can I get some feedback in the chats or on your hands up, claps, whatever, the little clap? Don't they got the little reaction emoji here? Yeah, they do. Or a little celebration emoji here. So definitely, yeah, somebody popping bottles. Come on, Eva. We popping bottles in the chat. Oh, Jasmine, thank you for that. Yo, so there is a listserv. Ooh, if I were better prepared, I would have that available for you. Dang. But our sis Siobhan out of Black Church Food Security Network actually coordinated a Black food jobs listserv. So that is actually live. If you, oh crap, I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to join that listserv. Maybe we can post it on our website, Leanne, or our social media.
Yeah,
What's the
I
easiest
can
way to-
share it. I can share it with a follow-up email if you want to do that as well.
Oh, there we go. You're so brilliant. Thank you. So we'll do that.
And
Mhm.
someone also asked if we could compile the jobs, and I can do that and send it all via email after this call.
Great. So Dennis, Carlton, Anthony, if you all can reply to that email thread, and Leanne is already on that, and so that'll be a part of the you see, I did my little emoji here. So y'all join me in celebrating. I think, again, I cannot mention or say enough about the incredible moment we're in, y'all. We are in an incredible moment to really step into our full power, our full leadership, and take our rightful places as leaders in this food movement. And so I really cannot stress enough how important it is you all stay in touch, stay connected, get organized, and fortify yourselves because we got some stuff coming. And so we're really excited, y'all. So thank you for joining us. Again, check out blackfoodjustice.org. Hit us up on the socials. Hit up Corbin Hill Food Project, Sip Culture, Kitchen Table Advisors, Dreaming Out Loud, Sapphire. I mean, we got all the good folks doing incredible work. And so definitely make sure you hit everybody up. So appreciate y'all. Have a beautiful rest of your day. I'm gonna close us out in a song. This is for you, Randolph Carr.
I love being blind. I said I love being blind. I said I love being blind. I said I love the color of my skin. It's the skin that I made. I love the texture of my hair, and I will rock it everywhere. I said I love being blind. I said I love being blind. I said I love being blind. I said I love the color of my skin. Color of my skin. 'Cause it's the skin that I made. Skin that I made. I love the texture of my hair. Texture of my hair. And I will rock it everywhere. Rock it everywhere. I said I love being blind. I said I love being blind. I said I love being blind. everywhere. Said I love being black. I said I love being black. I said I love being black. I said I love the color of my skin, color of my skin. It's the skin that I'm in, skin that I'm in. Texture of my hair, yeah. I will rock it.
Thank y'all for rocking with me, family.
Love you, Dara.
I love you more. Have a beautiful, beautiful day, fam.
Okay, thank you.
All right.